Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And now we have a Princess of Swords. This is a student kind of energy. I feel like you are, you're learning new things. I feel that you are kind of, in a way, it kind of feels like we're starting at white belt, right? There's a situation where you don't know everything. And we're asking questions, we're trying to get the answers, we're researching, we're studying, we're practicing, right? We are probably making mistakes. We're probably failing. And this is someone who is kind of willing to do that. You know, this is like the student. And when you're a student, guess what? You're not the master. You're not the one who knows everything yet. You're still learning. And so this card is about allowing ourselves room to not know, giving ourselves permission to fail, giving ourselves permission to make mistakes, to say, I don't know the answer, like, someone's got to show me how to do this, you know? And so whether this is a new job, a new skill, if it's just something else, whatever it is, it's kind of like when you start a new job and, you know, you're sort of expected to do things, and it's like, well, someone's got to train me. I don't know how to use these machines. No one's ever showed me, you know? And we don't feel embarrassed about that, do we? Well, no, because this is my first day. I don't know how to use this big machine, like whatever it is. I remember my first job was at a plastics molding company. Actually, I don't think it was my first job. It was like my third job probably. But I was like 17. I was 8. I think I had to be 18 to work there. It was a plastic injection molding company in the Bay Area of California. And there's just these big machines that are molding these little plastic parts for like cell phones and pagers and, you know, whatever else, toys and things. And you know, you walk in and it's just like, all right, you're going to be working that machine today. It's like, okay, I don't know how to do it. And it's just, and my family worked there too, so it's just kind of like I was expected to know how to do it already. And it's like, no, I've never been trained on this machine. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, someone's got to sort of teach me how to do it, right? And so there's no guilt in that, there's no shame, and there's no embarrassment in that. But let's see what's going on with that, okay? Let's put this card into a little bit of context for you. There we got a Six of Wands, very, very good. The victory is a victory over yourself. The victory is kind of over your, you know, perhaps your a victory over our own ignorance maybe, right? And ignorance is not a bad thing. Ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance is saying, I don't know something and I want to know it. Now we have that victory. Okay, now we have the win. We have to allow ourselves to fail and be humble and be a white belt. That's the only way we're going to get to victory. Okay, we've got the Universe card, got a Five of Swords, yep, but a Two of Swords and an Ace of Swords. I knew it was going to be about this mental aspect of things because I feel like you don't want to start at white belt. You don't want to maybe have to say that you don't know how to do it. You don't want to have to ask for help. You don't want to have to ask for training. You don't want to, you know, there's an aversion to that sort of thing. And we see that with our Five of Swords. There was a time where if you didn't already know how to do it, you weren't going to go do it. And so it kind of is a self-defeating thing where we may have been sort of worried about being the white belt, going into a situation where we don't know what we're doing. The only way we're going to get the Ace of Swords is by first making the choice to admit that I don't have the answers and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm searching for clarity. I'm searching for truth. I'm searching for the skill or the certainty or the wisdom. And the only way to do that is to do it, to start, right? So we don't want to delay here. And that's we have the universe underneath. This is a card of a delay, okay? Over here we have a 6 of Cups. Look at that. An Ace of Pentacles. The Hierophant, yeah, see? And the 4 of Swords. So it's really about this mental aspect of how we learn, right? And how we have to think about our life right now, especially in whatever you're doing. Again, it doesn't really matter what this is. What matters is you've never sort of done it before. So nobody expects you to be the boss, to be the expert, to be the master yet. Okay? And that's kind of the obstacle here for you, is the Hierophant in this position of our fear, worry, and concern. Maybe we don't want to have to ask the Hierophant for help. Maybe we're scared that we'll never become the Hierophant and that we'll always be just this sort of lowly student here. I think there's a realization coming for us that we're always the student. Okay? We can be the master, but we can be the student at the same time. And I think if we ever fully believe that we are the expert and the master, we've lost sight of ourselves. Okay? We can get close to this, just like the magician. We can never be a perfect magician. You can never be a perfect Hierophant either. Okay? We can accept that we have wisdom, we have expertise, but we're never done learning. I don't care what this is. Maybe this is a science. Maybe this is an art. Maybe it's a skill, a physical hobby, practice, or whatever it is. If you really truly love it, which I think you do, there's never an end to learning about it. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know jack you know what about tarot, right? And so it keeps us hungry. It keeps us thirsty for more. When I'm 100 years old, I'm still going to be learning more about it. And about other things too, whatever it is. And what I think is going on is that, let's say you know a great deal about tarot, but now you're trying to study Jing. It's a different animal, right? It's a different thing. So you have to go back to white belt even with that. And kind of start from kind of assuming that we don't really know anything about it. Maybe we're an expert at tarot. We feel like we're pretty close, relatively up there as expert level. But Jing, that's a whole different thing. We got to start at white belt again. And it's kind of a difficult transition because it's like, oh, I already know about divination and tarot and stuff, but but this is not tarot, right? This is something else. And so I feel like there's that kind of an issue going on for you. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. Set it down right here with Bubo, our mechanical owl, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the end. It will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay, now, as we look around the room, we sort of see two major arcana energies. We see the Hierophant and the universe. Delay and wisdom. Delaying your own growth here by having this decision unmade, by not choosing to go forward with this and immerse yourself in this and do this. Spirit's telling you, don't delay. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to ever get any kind of progress done, right? This is something of which you are capable of learning and growing into or developing the skill or whatever it is for you. Okay? Don't delay any further. Okay? Start doing it now. Make the decision to immerse yourself in this. Maybe you're considering going back to school. Maybe you're considering picking up a new sport or skill or hobby or whatever, developing a talent into, a refined kind of thing. Maybe we're not so sure of ourselves. We don't believe that we could ever get really, really good at something. You can and you will, but you have to begin at the beginning. You have to begin at your current level of understanding. It's like we need to take a placement test to see where we are in the math class, and then realize that we're capable of learning more, but it's going to take hard work. It's going to take a lot of little victories here. And the first victory is just to admit that I don't know anything about this, or to admit like what level we're at. That's the first victory. And then the victory is reaffirmed every day that we show up. Every day that we show up is a victory. Okay? Because we're telling ourselves that I can do this and I am doing this. Watch me do it. Every day is a victory. Every breath we take is a victory. Every time we try and fail is a victory. It's only when we stop trying that we truly fail at something, right? So anyway, we've got our two majors, and really the message, it's clear to me that you are, it's important that you develop this part of yourself, whatever it is. Don't fool yourself into thinking that we'll ever be a finished, perfect, wizard and 100% expert, that even when you think you know everything about this, you're going to find new things to learn, right? And I think that's the beauty of anybody. And I've been watching more science-y kind of shows lately. I really am into like cosmology and astronomy. And there's some really old people there studying space and quantum mechanics and all physics and stuff. And they're really old people. And you think, well, that's the expert on the subject. But they're in the room and they're so excited because they just discovered something new. They just learned something new that they didn't know before. It never ends. We are lifelong learners. The moment we stop, the moment we pretend or we delude ourselves into thinking that, I'm all done with my knowledge, we're lost. Right? I hope to be learning until my very last day. I hope I kind of die with a book in my hand, But anyway, so we've got our majors. We've got a little bit of fire and a little bit of water. A little fire, a little water, a little earth. Air, 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 air. Dominated over the half of the reading. 50% of the reading is air cards. Thankfully, it's nothing too severe. It's the ace, the 2, skipping over the 3 to a 4 and a 5, so that's okay. All right. I think what we're doing here is first we have self-doubt, but through trying, through being curious, through giving ourselves room to not know the answer, giving ourselves permission to be a student, admitting our own level of ignorance, whatever it might be, wherever our placement test sort of puts us, is how we get toward wisdom and truth and clarity. Okay? And that, of course, is going to get us to the development of this skill, and we're going to taking steps toward mastery. Okay, taking steps toward maybe this is a particular level of proficiency that you're after. I just want to be as good as I can be. I know it's a lifelong thing. I can never be absolutely perfect, but I at least want to be, I at least want to hit a certain level of something. I at least want to get through maybe some advanced algebra or something like that. But a lot of the swords cards here are telling me that we're sort of overthinking it a little bit. That we're having doubts, especially the 5 of swords. It almost feels as if you don't believe that it's possible for you to do this, that you don't think that you're capable of it. This is like we've defeated ourselves. We've lost before we even started. That's the biggest defeat. Is when we don't even try once. That's the biggest defeat, right? But what is the 6 but victory, a victory after a defeat? So I feel like you spent some time doubting yourself. You spent some time kind of not believing that it was possible for you, or not really understanding how to begin. Of course, we have the 5 plus the ace gives us the 6. So perhaps the ace of swords in the future position is what we really have to admit right now. And maybe we have to admit that I don't know much, and that's okay. What I'm seeking is truth. What I'm seeking is wisdom and knowledge and information and clarity. I don't have it now because that's what I'm after. I'm trying to learn something new and develop, maybe, I don't know if this is something intellectual, a science of some kind, or you're trying to learn a language. I don't know. It could be anything. We have to, first of all, stop telling ourselves that we're not able to do it. We have to turn this card upside down. We have to put spirit back on top. We've got to let spirit take the wheel here. Okay? We have to start telling ourselves in a positive way, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. I am someone who does this. I am someone who knows. I am someone who's learning. I am, speaking to ourselves in a very positive way. Let's do a Language of Flowers affirmation card here. Endurance. Hold on. You can do this. And we're going to need the endurance because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There was this old theory that it would take about 10,000 hours for you to reach a level of mastery at something. And that's been debunked now because I guess it's too sort of standard for everybody. Everybody's different, Everybody begins at a certain level of proficiency at something, and everybody learns at a different rate, and everybody practices different ways. Maybe this is really a reading about how you're practicing. Okay? First of all, you have to practice with the right mindset. And you have to make practice fun. You have to be able to find pleasure in it. Here, thankfully, we've got the Six of Cups is your general energy. So I think that you're practicing something. You've gotten over the doubt. You've accepted your level of proficiency, and now every day is a win. Every practice session, you're trying to make it as proficient as possible. 10 hours of just, random practice is not as good as 1 hour of very focused practice. So having a bit of a schedule, of a routine, having a list of things that you're supposed to be doing, enjoying it while you're doing it, eliminating distractions. Part of our Two of Swords is the discernment that we need about how to practice, what to practice, and how to do it. Okay? So it's intentional time to study. It is choosing what we need to work on. And to choose what to work on, we need clarity. I got to know who I am and what I'm good at. I need to know, moreover, what I'm bad at so I know what to practice. So we have to sort of just kind of start doing it and say, okay, I'm kind of making some mistakes over here, making some mistakes over there. Those are the areas I got to look at. At first, we want to push ourselves and see where our mistakes lie. That's why we take the placement test, like in high school or something. Or I went to community college, so we had to do that too. And you do as much as you can until you start failing, until you start getting the wrong answers, until you start making mistakes. And then it kind of the computer says, okay, that's where you need to go and study, because that was the limit of your present knowledge. Okay? And so we kind of take that into the practice room. Let's say you're trying to learn a musical instrument. And you're very good at certain techniques, but other techniques you're not too good at. You're not so good at reading sheet music. You're not too good with a certain type of grip or technique or whatever. Like if you're playing the drums, your left hand might not be as good as your right, that sort of thing. You identify the weaknesses, and that's where you choose to put your efforts. Okay? And so this is a discernment that is kind of telling us what to focus on in any given practice session so we can make the most. Let's say you don't have 10 hours to practice randomly. You have maybe 30 minutes or an hour. Make it count. Don't waste time sitting down. Okay, start the clock. Okay, an hour. What should I do today? What should I work on? Let's see. I don't know. What sounds good? What would be fun? It'd be fun just to play some tunes or whatever, right? We got to go into it already knowing as soon as we sit down, clock starts, we're practicing the right way, studying the right way and learning, actually making some progress and developing something using the time that we have. And the universe card under the surface here is kind of interesting because this is a card that says, yeah, there's been a delay. You don't want to delay any longer. You want to get started now and do this thing as soon as you can because it's going to make you happy. You're going to enjoy this process. Okay. Also, I feel like owls are a big influence or a big symbol for you. The owl. I don't know if you collect owls or you have some. I almost feel like you're like coloring, like an owl, a picture or something, like an adult kind of like coloring book kind of thing, something like that. There's some owl that you're either painting or coloring. Anyway, the universe card is the delay. It's saying you're wasting time being uncertain about what you want to do. Just do it. Just jump into it, immerse yourself in it, figure out where your weaknesses are, and start getting better. Okay? This is also the card that says there really is no boundary around you. There is nothing preventing you from doing this. We may feel as if there are restrictions, okay? But there is a way for you to rearrange your life in order to make room for this. This is something that you care about. This is something that you value, you want to do, you want to have it as part of your life. You got to find a way to make time and space. Okay? Time and space are not fixed and rigid laws and truths of the universe. Time and space are relative. So we can make time and space. It's not easy, but we can do it. And I think that sometimes we have to, with the Six of Wands, we have to realize where our attention is going and prioritize some things over others. Okay? We can, again, like you can do 10 hours worth of practice in 20 minutes if you really wanted to. That is kind of, making time, right? But I think making time in a very, very simple way is where are we wasting time? Where can we recycle some of our time and put it toward this project or this endeavor that you are going to start working on as soon as possible, right? Now, are you making soap, or there's some kind of like homemade soap or something in your family, or you make them, or someone close to you has they make like kind of like those fancy soaps or something like that, right? Very fragrant, like I'm seeing like a pink rose kind of thing. Anyway, the Ace of Swords in this future position, I think, is the clarity. It is the single pointedness. It is the focus. It is in a way saying that there is nothing else going on in your mind at the time except for this practice or this study or this work. Okay? That we are not, our mind is not in a million different places at once. That we're choosing for this moment to be connected with this purpose utterly. Like we have locked ourselves in a room, and this is what we do for that 20 minutes, and that's it. Maybe this is a meditation practice for you. Maybe you're someone who says, well, I want to meditate. I know it'll be beneficial to me, but I just don't have the time. I don't feel like I know how to do it. No, of course we don't know how to do it. If we haven't done it, how would we know how to do it? Or with someone who says, oh, I'm bad at meditation. Well, how do you know? Well, because I tried once. You tried once. It takes years to even begin to understand what the beginning of meditation even could possibly be like later on down the road. You know what I mean? So things like this, the mind will find ways to avoid the stress, the difficulty, or the embarrassment, or the challenge of facing something that is unknown to us. Okay? Especially if this is meditation, because I feel like that is a foundational part of life, and I think I'm a big proponent of meditation. I think everybody needs to at least do like 15 minutes a day. And we can find a way. You can do it on your lunch break. You can do it, you can wake up a few minutes early and do it in the morning. You can do it 10 minutes before you go to bed at night. Whatever the case is, You can do it while you're sitting on a bus or waiting for a train or whatever. And I feel like we devote ourselves singularly to the practice at hand, and this is making the most of the time we have, and it's really making time. So when our mind is scattered, we may flit away hours of our day without really getting anything done. Or we can concentrate all of that, and we can accomplish a lot in just a few minutes of concentrated effort. Maybe I'm even expecting the mystery card to be like an Eight of Wands or something, right? But you have this singular focus, and that's the way forward for you, is to have that concentration. It's almost saying there's no point in doing it if you're going to do it with 20 other things on your mind at the same time. It's just not worth it, right? Path of the Serpent. Let's talk about this. You start with your Six of Cups. This is pleasure. I think when you start doing it, you're going to feel good. It's going to give you pleasure to do that and do nothing else. If anything, just to have 10 minutes a day where I don't have to do anything else. I can just sit here. That part feels good. But then to sit here and to do something that is bringing you closer to what your goal is in life, in this particular, like, the meditation or learning the drums or the guitar, or even if it's like writing, maybe you're trying to write something, starting to write poetry or write a book or learn math, I don't know. Just the creation of the sacred space is going to feel good, right? To have that little bit of time in your life that's just for you, and what you're doing is going to feel good. But then to begin the practice is going to feel good, and that practice is going to spread some joy around to other areas of your life. Just 5 minutes a day meditation, you're going to sleep better, your relationships are going to start getting better, you're going to be thinking better, your body will feel better, you'll be less stressed out. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to it in other areas of life. I don't think that's why you're doing it. You're not doing it for those other benefits. You're doing it for itself. But it's pretty sweet that it's going to help out other things too. Okay? I feel like whatever this is, it needs to be one of your 6 pillars of health and well-being, right? The 6 of Cups, it's kind of the 6 pillars of a quality life. It's intentional eating, intentional movement, adequate sleep, stress reduction, substance management, and a sense of purpose, relationships. Maybe that's more than 6, I don't know. A lot of the time, the secret of health, right, is what we don't do. The things that we cease doing. And that's what I mean by the substance management, right? We have intentional eating. I'm choosing the things that I'm putting into my body. The substance management is kind of how I'm keeping things out sometimes. I'm limiting what things come in sometimes, right? And I feel like this is a practice or a skill or a talent or an art form that you want to have as like a core, as a central kind of component of your happy life. Because it feels good to do it, and it makes other things feel better too. Okay? And the Ace of Pentacles in the relationships, you're beginning this is a new thing. Like I said, this isn't something that you have much experience with already. I think once you begin and you start to feel the benefits, you're going to want to keep it as part of your sort of core lifestyle. But right now it may feel like this is just a brand new path. This is the first step. What they say, the first step is the most difficult, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. This is that first step. And you're being told to take that first step. And that first step is bringing you much closer to the Hierophant than not taking the step at all. Okay? The first step is usually a leap. Okay? And it usually is the most difficult. But it's bringing you infinitely closer to this sense of mastery or to the particular level of proficiency that you're aiming for than where you were beforehand. Okay? And we talked about the Hierophant. I think we don't need to go over that again. But the 4 of Swords here is a truce. Okay, the 4 of Swords is when the 5, our doubt and our confusion and maybe our mistrust, right? We've sort of, we've stabilized that a little bit. So this is a mind now that is not so confident necessarily. It's not about having confidence, really. It's about trying to not focus on the doubts. It's like we don't have to be super confident, but we don't want to be sabotaging ourselves with a lot of negative dialogue and a lot of doubt. It's okay to say, I don't know. Is this going to work out? I don't know. I know we said with the 5 of Swords that we want positive affirmations. We want to say, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. At the end of the day, we might feel like I'm just brainwashing myself by saying that. I don't actually feel it. I don't actually feel the confidence. That's okay. Okay? If we repeat something enough, eventually it will come true, you know? So I feel like this card is protecting us against the negative thoughts. This card is also about, this card is about meditation and breath work, okay? But this card is also really about keeping boundaries around us. That once we decide to do this, we have to be very vigilant that we don't let other things start encroaching on that time and space that we've created. Because once you create time and space, guess what? Everybody wants it. As soon as you got a little time and space, everyone's going to come out. Everyone's hungry for your time and space, and they're going to come and try to take it. It's like you got a little bit of cheese in your hand, and then all the rats come out, and they want the cheese. You're going to have to safeguard that. Okay? So you set away 20 minutes in your morning to do this thing, to meditate, or to do your art, or to, even a spiritual practice, whatever it could be. And eventually there are going to be other things that are knocking on your door saying, oh, you got 20 minutes. Can I use that for something else? Even parts of your own mind are going to say, well, I got 20 minutes. Gosh, maybe I should be sleeping in. Maybe I should, maybe this is time where I really should be like vacuuming the carpet. Be careful of that, because it will happen. Your mind is going to find other things to do with that 20 minutes. You have to be vigilant. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. Hermit, Magician, maybe some fire energy. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the Hermit here, but maybe we're going to get something like the Death card, right? It'll be your superpower card, a card of transformation, evolution, the slow, steady progress. Okay. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. Oh, yeah, the Tower. The Tower, it's kind of like saying either do it or you don't. There is no try, right? It just needs to be a burst of energy. We need to just say, okay, I'm done holding myself back with the doubt, and I'm just gonna spring forward. So this is an urgent, just as a very quick change. This is an overnight change. This is saying, well, okay, maybe in a few weeks, I'll try to rearrange some things. Maybe in a few weeks I can start doing it. Yeah, that seems okay. No. This is saying right now, today, instant change, big time exclamation point in your life, major change right away. Don't delay. Don't make a plan and say, okay, in 2 weeks or whatever, then I'll be able to do it. We say, no, we start right now. In whatever little way we can. 5 seconds, close your eyes, meditate, Start wherever you are at this moment in your life, whatever level you're at, whatever amount of time and space you've created, use it now. Let's not delay any further. This is a profound change, a breakthrough in consciousness. Okay, so this is like we're gonna stop with maybe, I don't know. This is a burst of energy that says, I'm doing it right now. It's a liberation of energy, okay? I think this is a wonderful confirmation card. Absolutely wonderful. Change starts today, okay? Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading if you want to stick around. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Scorpio Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you. I love you. And we're all in this together.